which has the Masjid al-Haram, Mina and Muzdalifah, and some of the Arafah as well in the right hand side lower corner, which of course is outside the Haram of Mecca. So that's Masjid al-Haram. Okay, we zoom out. That's Mina. We zoom out again. Below it is Muzdalifah. We zoom out, and right in the right hand side lower corner, that's Arafah. Okay, and we zoom out again, and we replace it with a different map where we would see the actual rites of Hajj. Just to first familiarize what is in this map. Masjid al-Haram, okay, that's Mina. That's what has just appeared is the Masjid al-Khif, which is the large masjid of Mina. We also have on the left of it the Jamarat, which I want to show you from now on so that you become familiar with what geographically where the Jamarat. This is Jamratul Ula, which is closer to the Masjid al-Khif. Then we have Masjid al-Wusta, Jamratul Wusta, and then Jamratul Aqaba, which is the largest Jamra, which is closer to Masjid al-Haram, right at the outside the boundary of Mina. Okay, we are coming to a break now. Inshallah, I will go further after the break. Until the break, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. So inshallah, we go further from where we stopped. What I have shown you is part of those areas which are concerned with the performing of the Hajj. So we have reached unto Mina, and you can see the four important things. One is the Masjid al-Khif and the three Jamarat, which are towards the direction of Masjid al-Haram. The smallest one is more towards the direction of Mina, and the largest one is right at the boundary of Mina, where the Mina ends. The next is Muzdalifah, the area just highlighted. You have Masjid al-Mash'ar al-Haram, which is the large masjid in Muzdalifah. One other thing is the area between Muzdalifah and Mina, what has just appeared called Wadi Ma'asir. This is the valley between Muzdalifah and Mina, and these are outside the boundary of both Muzdalifah and Mina. So if one stays in Mina and he slips into this valley, then his stay will be invalid. Whatever is obligatory, such as the staying in the Ayam al-Tashriq, then it would not be valid if he is in this valley. Same is for the Wuquf of Muzdalifah, will not be valid if you are in Wadi Mahasir. Wadi Mahasir is the place where Abraha came and he was destroyed, his army was destroyed here. So it is an area where the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he passed on the Yawm al-Nahar from Muzdalifah, he was going towards Mina. When he reached the Wadi Mahasir, they said that he moved a little bit faster going through this valley. Next is Arafah, which is right towards the right hand side corner below. Arafah is where you do the Wuquf of Arafah on the Yawm Arafah. You have Masjid Namira. It's very small there, but which is important to appreciate that Masjid Namira is not all of it is in the area of Arafah. The front part of some of the masjid is outside the area of Arafah. That's why wuquf should not be done in that part of the masjid. Very important point to remember. You have the mount of Arafah, what we call Jabal al-Arafah. Some people call it Jabal al-Rahma. In fact, some very renowned scholars, they wrote this name Jabal al-Rahma in their book. I don't want to mention the names, which is a bit surprising because there isn't any basis for this specific name to become, because it is not found anywhere in the narrations in the text that this is Jabal Rahma. This was the mountain where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood and did the wuquf of Arafah. It was just a matter that he chose this, and he said that the waqaftu ha huna wa kullu Arafah mawqif. He said that I stand here, but all the Arafah is a place of wuquf. So nothing special about, except that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam chose that spot. But we'll discuss this issue later. We have another valley here, which is the boundary between Arafah and the remaining area between Muzdalifah and Arafah, and this is Wadi Orna. Wadi Orna is another issue, that it is not part of the wuquf. That's why wuquf is invalid in Wadi Orna. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said warfa'u an batn Orna, that move away from the valley of Orna, meaning the bed of this valley. So that's also important landmark to recognize. So these are the areas. Now we go to the actual map, where we slight change here. What you are seeing on the top in the middle is the title. The left hand side, the left hand side yellow area is where the day and date will appear, and at the bottom is the caption area where the rules will be mentioned. Okay, now you know where Masjid al-Haram is, where Mina, Muzdalifah and Arafah are. So we start from, this is Yawm al-Tarwiyah. This is 8th of Dhul Hijjah. This is when you start the rites of Hajj. You are somewhere near Masjid al-Haram. The blue circle or the smiley face indicates where you are. Though you may be very close to Mina, because people who stay in Aziziyah, for example, they are close to Mina rather than Masjid al-Haram. But wherever you are, this is one scenario we are using. That you are there, this is Yawm Tarwiyah, sun rises. Okay? When the sun rises, then the time for the rites of Hajj begin. Though this is not obligation, some people think that there is no way you can change this. You can travel in the night before, if there is traffic, if there is difficulty, if there is risk that you will not be able to reach Mina, or you can delay. For example, this is the day of Jummah, where you are starting the rites of Hajj. So there is nothing wrong with staying in near Masjid al-Haram, praying Salatul Jummah, and then leave for Mina. So going to Mina on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah is a sunnah. This is what is confirmed by the hadith of Jabir radiallahu anhu, what I mentioned earlier, and also other narrations. There he said that when the Yawm Tarwiyah came, then the people, they turned towards Mina and called out the Talwiyah, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also rode out. So in this way you travel to Mina as the sun moves. By the time the sun reaches the Zawal, meaning the time for Dhuhr, you are in Mina. This is how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what you would see here is the track the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam followed and the timings he followed. But where I would mention where the variations are allowed and where not. So this is a sunnah. This is why you are seeing in capital in green that this is a sunnah. It is a sunnah to reach Mina and pray Dhuhr prayer and then stay overnight, completing 5 prayers in Mina until the Fajr prayer of the next day, Yawm Arafah. If a person is delayed or he reaches early, inshallah there's no problem if there is a need. But if there is no problem, if there is no necessity to do that, then we should follow the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We should try to do as much as in accordance with what we find out how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. So this is the way he did. So you stay the night. Now it is important that I don't want to stick to just the rites of Hajj. You go there, and this is how you finish the Hajj. It's very important that when you are in Mina, because people, they reach, then they start, a big hustle goes on for the beddings, for the pillows, for the food. A person forgets completely why he is there. Then they will start gossiping, then they will look for the food, they will go out, search Mina, where is the boundary, whose camp is there, where. So rather, this is not the purpose of you being there. The purpose of you being there is to recite the talbiyah, recite the Quran, do the dhikr, make dua, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because this is the reason you are there. One rule for when you are in Mina is that the prayer is shortened there, but you don't combine the prayer, because this is how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did his prayer. So he shortened the prayer, but he did not combine the prayer in Mina at this stage. So this is what you would do, that you would what you are seeing in the caption is that you will shorten the prayer, but you would not combine the prayer. I'm not sure if we show the next slide. Okay. And I said that one should spend the time whilst he is in Mina overnight in doing what is required there, rather than gossiping and wasting time or eating, drinking, because this is the thing which we will spend more. As I said earlier, that the talbiyah should be said all the time, but more especially after the obligatory prayer, when the day begins, when the night starts and the day ends. These are the timings where you say the talbiyah more. So in this way you spend all the afternoon and evening and the night till the next morning appears, and you pray Salatul Fajr. This is Yom Arafah. This is 9th of Dhul Hijjah. This is the day of forgiveness. A lot can be said about these days, but we will restrict to this statement. Inshallah, this is sufficient, that this is truly a day of forgiveness. Sun would rise, then it's the time to leave Mina. Again, this is a sunnah to leave Mina straight after sunrise, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's what he did. When the sun rose on Yom Arafah, he left for Arafah. So from Mina you travel, what you would see now, to passing Muzdalifah, go straight to Arafah. You reach Arafah by about midday. Once the sun passes the zenith, this is Zawal. When the Zawal occurs, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Masjid Namra. He waited there. When the Zawal occurred, then he did a khutbah. And then he prayed Dhuhr and Asr, shortening the prayer and combining them together. There is slight variation in the reports mentioning about how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did this. It is a sunnah to keep the khutbah short and do the prayer at the early time, so that more time is given to the wuquf, because that is the main issue here, and that is a pillar of the Hajj. So once you've done that, then you start the wuquf. Now I want to go to the actual explanation of the wuquf, and inshallah show you how the wuquf of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was done. Exactly, how where he reached, and what he did. So this is the day of Arafah. That's the field of Arafah, the map again. The Prophet ﷺ traveled, and this is Masjid Namira. You can see the Masjid Namira where it will emerge from. That's where it is located. Okay, this is Masjid Namira. Rasulullah ﷺ, when the sun rose on the day, he traveled from Mina and reached Masjid Namira. When he reached near Masjid Namira, he stayed there. When the sun declined from the midline, then he made the khutbah, brief khutbah explaining about the wuquf. And then Adhan was called, and then he led Dhuhr and Asr prayer, both with 2 rak'ah each, with an iqama before each prayer. And this is the strongest opinion. Though there are opinions that the adhan can be called before the khutbah, or one adhan should be called before each prayer, and they are all okay. If anyone prays in that manner, then inshallah that is acceptable. Some people have this strange idea that if you don't pray with the imam, then you pray full.